All right, let's talk about something big. What if, and I'm serious, what if you could actually 10x your personal and professional value by 2026? I know it sounds like a huge, maybe even impossible goal, but it's not. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to lay out a clear 3-pillar blueprint to make it a reality. So let's dive in. First things first, when you hear a phrase like 10x your value, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's money, right? Your salary, your bank account. And yeah, financial growth is definitely part of the equation, but it is not the whole picture. It's not even the most important part. So what are we really aiming for here? Here's the real prize. It's about having 10 times the freedom, 10 times the options. It's about building a life where you have the power to say no to things that don't excite you. It's the ability to take that trip, to finally start that business, or maybe just to take a breath without constantly worrying about money. That's what we're after, a life that you design based on your choices, not your circumstances.
So where on earth do we start a transformation this big? Well, it's not with a new resume or a hot stock tip. It starts right here, inside your own head. Pillar 1 is all about mastering your inner world, your mindset, because your external reality is always a reflection of what's going on inside.
You know, it all boils down to this fundamental truth. Your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings drive your actions, and your actions, they produce your results. It's a simple chain reaction, but we often forget it. You simply cannot build a 10x life on top of a 1x mindset. The change has to start from the inside out. Now, this is a really critical distinction. On one hand, you've got the results-focused mind. This person is staring at the trophy at the top of the cliff, and they're completely overwhelmed by the climb. On the other hand, you have the process-focused mind, and this person is actually enjoying the journey, step by step. Most of us are stuck on the left. You know, it's like buying a guitar because you have this fantasy of impressing people at a party, but you quit after a week because your fingers hurt and practice is boring. The real secret is to shift your focus to the right, to fall in love with the daily practice. Do that, and the results, well, they just take care of themselves. So how do you actually stay motivated during that process? You build unshakable confidence. And you do that through small, consistent wins. Think of it like this. Nobody just decides to climb Mount Everest and starts walking. No way. They spend months, even years, conquering smaller peaks, building their strength and belief. Every small win creates momentum. So stop setting these huge, intimidating goals. If your dream is to write a book, don't focus on the book. Just focus on writing one great paragraph today. That's how you build the confidence to write another one tomorrow. Of course, focusing on the process is pretty much impossible when your brain is just stuck in a loop of anxiety and all those what-ifs. We've all been there, right? You get caught in that spiral, either worrying about the future or replaying some mistake from the past. So what's a real practical tool you can use, like right now, to break that cycle? This is an incredibly powerful technique to pull you back into the present moment. The next time you feel your mind just starting to spiral, I want you to stop, just pause, and do this. Name 5 things you can see around you. Now notice 4 things you can physically feel: the chair under you, the fabric of your clothes. Next, listen for 3 distinct sounds. Then, identify 2 different smells. And finally, focus on 1 thing you can taste. It's so simple, but this exercise literally yanks your brain out of the past or future and plants it right back here, in the present. It's like an instant reset button for your mind. Okay, so once you've started to master your mindset, it's time to translate that inner strength into some real-world results. And that brings us to pillar 2, building your action engine. This is the system, the machine, that turns all that potential into tangible value. Now, this requires a really crucial reframing of how you see your current job. I want you to stop seeing it as just a job and start seeing it as a paid apprenticeship. The founder of Spanx, Sarah Blakely, she sold fax machines door to door for years, and she hated it. But she used that time to get paid while she learned how to sell, how to overcome rejection, and how to be resilient. Your 9 to 5 isn't a trap, it's your training ground. So many of us dream about starting a business, but we get stuck. We think we need some revolutionary, brilliant idea or a huge pile of cash from an investor. But that's a myth. The single most important thing you need isn't a perfect idea, it's validation. It's just proving that somebody out there is actually willing to pay for what you have to offer.
And getting validation can be incredibly simple. Check out this example of a dog walking business that started with literally zero money. Step 1. The guy offered to walk a few of his neighbor's dogs for free, just to prove he could do a good job. They loved him. Step 2, he then asked for a small fee, and because they already knew he was great, they happily paid. That's it. That's validation. It was only then, after he proved people would pay, that he thought about scaling up. No fancy business plan, no investors, just simple proof.
Look, we all know about the power of compounding money, right? But the real secret to 10xing your value, especially in a 2-year time frame, is compounding skills. Sure, investing $100 a month is a great habit, but it takes decades to see those huge returns. But what if you invested a few hours a week into learning a high-value skill, like video editing, or public speaking, or coding? Those skills compound like crazy. A skill you learn this year could literally double your earning potential next year. That's a return you'll never get from the stock market alone. Okay, so you've mastered your mind. You've built your action engine. Now it's time for the final piece of the puzzle, designing a system to manage the wealth that you're creating. This is all about making your money work for you, instead of you always working for it. This might be one of the most important financial lessons you will ever learn. You have to know the difference between an asset and a liability. It's actually really simple. An asset puts money in your pocket. Think stocks, a rental property, or profitable business. A liability takes money out of your pocket, like a fancy car payment or an expensive watch. The wealthy spend their lives acquiring assets. Everybody else, they spend their lives acquiring liabilities that they think are assets. And this really all comes down to a fundamental mental shift. The person with a scarcity mindset is always asking, how can I spend less? How can I cut back? The person with an abundance mindset asks a completely different question. How can I earn more? Now look, saving is important, but you can't save your way to a 10x life. True growth, real wealth, comes from creating more value and expanding your opportunities. So there you have it, the 3 pillars: mindset, action, and wealth. You see, on their own, each one is powerful, but when you combine them, when they work together, that's when they create an absolutely unstoppable blueprint for exponential growth over the next 2 years.
So let's just recap it real quick. First, you've got to master your mindset. That means falling in love with the process, not just the prize, and building that unshakable confidence through daily small wins. Second, build your action engine. Use your current job as a launchpad, as an apprenticeship, and focus on compounding your skills for explosive growth. And third, design your wealth system. That means acquiring assets, not liabilities, and always operating from a mindset of abundance, not scarcity.
This isn't just some interesting theory. This is your call to action. The clock for 2026 is ticking, and it starts right now. So as we finish up here, I want you to look back at those 3 pillars we just talked about and ask yourself, what is one small, tiny action you can take today to get started? Don't wait. Decide on your first step and go take it.